here. We are talking about building a support system. And so I don't know about y'all, but a support system, I haven't always had it, and it's been so critical and key for me lately. With virtual learning, digital learning, I know some states are doing hybrid, even if you have your kids going to school every day. Schooling in a pandemic is totally different from what it was before. So that has been like my number one stress factor lately. And so yours might be something else. You may have a newborn baby, teenagers, that's a whole nother topic of conversation. And so whatever it is, when it comes to motherhood, it's always important to have that tribe of people who can either help you out, who can either talk you down, who can rescue you, who can pick up the kids, drop off things to the kids. I know I was talking about in an email that went out, you know, that mom that when you're feeling guilty because you showed up to the school play late, she makes you feel better about yourself, or she sits in for you. Or how about the mom the mom friend who, you know, you forgot to bake the cookies, or you didn't have time and you were supposed to have it for the classroom party the next day. She shows up with some cookies from Walmart on a platter that look like you baked them, give them to you, and now you the boss of the class. Like, those are the type of mama friends that I'm talking about, but mostly a support system for our emotional health. Somebody to talk to, somebody to lean on, and then again, somebody in the physical side to be able to help us with our children, somebody to pick them up from school. Like if you live here in Atlanta, sometimes you get stuck in traffic, and so someone that can just support you wherever the need is. And so one of the things that I would say is, number one, we got to have it. So it's going to help you. Hey, Shelly, thank you for joining me. It's going to help you with your emotional growth, with your emotional well-being or health. It's going to help you physically, mentally, like all of that good stuff, right? And so we need to be intentional about seeking these people out. So normally these relationships grow and they're authentic. And I don't want to come on and when I say be intentional about them, I'm not saying that we have to force them. But when I say be intentional, what I mean by that is we do have to seek them out. So if you do not have them in place, if that's why you're watching tonight, if that's why you joined me tonight, if you do not have them in place, this is what I'm going to talk about tonight. The other fact to this, and I don't have like a long list of tips or anything, but if you are a part of somebody else's support system, I'm talking to the mama friends that you know you show up and that you have a group of mama friends and you're available, make sure you're cultivating those relationships. Make sure you're letting them know that you appreciate them. Make sure that you're showing up and being a good friend as well. So again, tonight we are talking about building a strong support system, your mom tribe, squad, whatever, village, whatever you want to call it. We all absolutely have to have one. And so if you are watching, if you would please share on your social media, as well as tag a mom who you know needs this information tonight. And thank you again for joining me. And if you're watching the replay, thank you so much. So again, villages, squads, tribes, groups, support systems, typically they are authentic. Typically, there are people that we have long-lasting relationships with. Maybe they were your friend before you became a mom. Maybe you met at the park. Maybe your kids were in class together. All types of sort of different situations that can happen. For me, I have a few moms who are in my support system or in my tribe. One of the moms, my son, so I have 3 kids. Oldest daughter is in 11th grade, middle daughter is in 8th grade, and my son is in 5th grade. So my son, they were in this classroom together for pre-K, did not know this mom, didn't really even know the son, her son, but they were in a pre-K together, and then they ended up going to elementary school together. What's so unique about the situation is the elementary school, the elementary schools in my county, they don't have pre-K. So they were at a daycare. So you had to do a pre-K program like at a daycare. And so it was so ironic because the daycare wasn't like, you know, the daycare up the street or the one in my district. It was so ironic that they went to the same daycare for pre-K and then they ended up at the same elementary school. They were in kindergarten together, I believe 1st grade, and then 2nd grade she had moved away for 1 school year, and then when they came back together they were in 3rd grade together, and then 4th grade, and then now, well no, they weren't, well So they had a team teach, if you all know what that is. And so they would switch classes or switch teachers. So they wasn't the exact same class together, but they were like literally right next door to each other, and their teachers would team teach. And then now this year, 5th grade, my son ended up in a different program, but at the same school, and they are best of friends. So guess what? It started out with just me and his mom, like, hey, our kids, they rocking with each other. Let's meet up. You meet me halfway, or you drop them off, I'll drop them back off. You know, let's meet up at Stars and Stripes or whatever. Let's take them bowling, take them Sky Zone, whatever. We just start meeting up. And of course, with us meeting, I like to know all of my kids' parents. I want to know, like, that's just me. I want to know the background, where it came from, where you live at, what the house looking like. Like, I want to know all that before I allow my kids to dive deep into these relationships. And so start to get to know her. And literally today, I will shout you out. Ayana, I don't know if you're watching, she is one of my bestest friends that I have. Someone that I totally, hands down, trust with my kids. If I go out of town, me and my hubby, and she is here, she watches my kids. Like, I trust my kids to stay at her house, whatever I need when it comes to my kids, picking them up from work, from school, taking them to activities, like, hands down. So we built, so that's what I mean by an authentic relationship. We built this relationship. So I want you to really look around you and think about and write out, and I'm gonna give you practical steps. Like, I could not be, or the type of coach that I am, I can give you these tools and these strategies all day long, but I always give you practical steps of things to do to be able to make sure that you're reaching the goal or you're reaching success. So I do have some practical tips for you, but right now, if you have a pen and paper, if you don't, think in your head, write on your phone, who are those people who you really cultivated relationships with, and you build that trust factor, and you can be vulnerable with them, but you didn't really think about them you know, being able to help you or being a part of your support system. It's like, oh, like, that person really could be a part of my support system. Have that conversation with them. What does that look like? And I know for me, most times the people who are in my tribe, when it comes to my kids, they typically have kids, maybe kids around the same age, or just kids in general. But there are some single friends that I have with no children that will rock for me as well. So think about those people as well, and see if they can become a part of your support system. So by the end of this, I want you all to have a list of those people that you know that you can call on in the event of an emergency or anything like that. So again, it happens authentically, or sometimes you have to be intentional about it. I have a group of women that I met on the PTA team, and we have become very, very, very close. I mean, like, really close. I love these ladies. I just told them one day, I love y'all. I love what you do, how you raising your kids. You have inherited to be the fake aunties. Y'all know when y'all grew up and your mom best friend was like your auntie, but it wasn't really your auntie. I told them, y'all the aunties. And so I was intentional about putting those people in my tribe. But again, it was trust that was built, the relationship was built, and the rapport was built as well. And so think about, again, the people who you may have around you who you didn't necessarily think could be a part of the tribe, but they absolutely can be. So here's a few things that I want you to do, right? Practical tips or tasks that I'm going to give you. And so if it does not happen authentically, we do have to be intentional about it. So one of the things I told you to do was write down those people who you think could actually be a part of the tribe. So here are the questions that I want you to ask yourself when you're putting this list together. Write down all the names, and then ask yourself this question about each individual. So we're talking about who can be a part of your village, your tribe, your squad, your support system, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it does not have to be another mom. Let me be clear on that as well. If you have sons and you have men in your community, your church, wherever where you feel comfortable, absolutely allow them to be a part. If there's a grandmother, like a friend who has a mom who's available, who's a retired teacher or something of that nature, that person can be a part of your tribe as well. So we have to really, I don't like to say think outside the box. We have to remove the box and just really think outside of what we normally would think as far as people around us in our life. So think a little bit further than maybe those people who you are intimately connected to on a day-to-day basis, if that makes sense. So write down this list and ask yourself a few questions. Number one is, who do I trust with my kids? And if y'all like me, like some people like nobody, like, and so I totally get it. At some point we have to trust somebody, right? Like, it's totally unrealistic for us not to be able to trust anyone. So what I will do, this is just speaking from my own personal experience. I'm going to be very transparent. Because of my background and because of things I went through as a child, those things allowed me to have issues when it came to trust. And so if you don't trust anybody with your kids, and I get it, it's crazy people, cycles out in the world. It be your family members, it be the closest people to you who be doing stuff to our children, and we're not having that because we don't want to have to go to jail. And I'm just gonna be honest, because I'm a mama, we don't want to have to strangle nobody. And so I definitely do get it. One of the things I will definitely say, two things I'm gonna say. Number one is, if it is a matter of something that you went through as a child or something in your past that is causing you to have trust issues, then I want you to really, really pray about it. Number two, secondly, because I am a spiritual person, pray that God leads you to the people that you can have be a part of your tribe, your village, your squad, your support system. And so pray that God leads you to those people. But at some point, y'all, because I know y'all hear this quote all the time, no man is an island. We cannot do this alone. Like, there has been times where I have been so stressed out to the point where I wanted to cry in this season, and within the last 30 days, especially with this digital learning. There is no way without my husband, even beyond my husband, my friends, my tribe, the people that I'm calling, their other moms who are going through the same thing. There is no way I would have gotten through it without breaking down if I was not able to have a conversation with them. I know coronavirus is going on, and COVID, and we may not be able to meet up directly, but having a conversation with them on the phone, being able to connect with them on Friday nights and just chill via Zoom, those are the things that we need. We cannot, absolutely cannot do this alone. And so I want you to dig deep to see if there's some issues within yourself. And I want you to dig deep to come up with this list, and dig deep to find it in yourself to be able to trust. Like, we got to figure it out, right? We got to trust somebody. And so who are those people who you're willing to try this thing out and trust? And we're going to talk about that a little bit later. So I'm only on the first question. The first question is, who do I trust with my kids? Has to be somebody, right? And so think about, like, I was talking to a client, and she was saying that how she was trying to get her mom to like move in with her and move down with her so that she can have that help. Is it a family member? Aunt Sally, Aunt Betty, they're living all by themselves in a whole nother state or city. Now, you may be like me and don't want to buy in your space, but can they get moving the house around the corner, your finished basement? What do you need to do to be intentional about building this support system for yourself? Because again, we can't do it alone. The second question that's really, really important, and I will always ask my kids this before I don't leave them. I can probably count on one hand how many people I left them with, but I don't leave them with a lot of people. But the people I have left them with, I need to know, do they feel comfortable with them? Like, that's in that question to be able to ask yourself. And if you don't know and you have kids of age who can answer, ask them the question. If I had to go out of town for 2 days or for a week, then they might panic when you say a week. Don't say a week. If I had to go out of town or I had to go somewhere for a couple hours, who would you like to watch you? Like, and see what they say. Now, of course, they're kids, so they might not, they may see something to somebody else. We like, you ain't going over there. But having their input is going to be very, very important and very, very critical. So number two is, who do my kids feel comfortable with? Make sure that you're asking them the question as well if they're of age. Number three is, who is flexible? And so we may be thinking, oh, well, they have to have moms, or, oh my God, they may not, because they have so many kids, they may not be able to help with mines. Those are actually the perfect moms. But asking ourselves, who is flexible to be able to help me at the drop of a dime when there is an emergency, who is willing to do that. Everybody's not flexible. And so you may want to think that through in your head when you're going through your list, as well as just asking people. Like before I would put emergency contacts on my kids list, I would either call or text the person like, look, if something happens, you're way on this side of town, would you be willing to? And for the most part, of course, everybody said yes. But being honest, even with you being on the other side of being a support system for somebody else, being honest, can you really do that for someone? And so we need to know who is going to be flexible. Because most times we need people, you know, on the cuff, right? It's not like, sometimes we have this stuff planned out, but most time, mamas, we taking care of it. So it's like an emergency situation normally when we need people, or it might be like a planned date night, you know, very rarely something like that may happen as well. But we do need to know who is going to be, or willing, that's a good way to put it, who is willing to be flexible for us. Number 4, who is very helpful. And so if you just like, man, I just can't come up with nobody, I'm not really quite sure who I trust. My kids is too little. They can't tell me who they're comfortable with. I don't know who's flexible. Everybody working crazy now during COVID. Who is very helpful? Who's that person around your church, in your community, in your neighborhood, at the school, always shows up to all the PTA meetings, always shows up to volunteer? I'm not saying that that's an absolute guaranteed candidate, but I want you to look at that. Who is showing up and putting themselves out there to be able to help other people? That is somebody who may be great to be a part of your tribe or a part of your support system. The next thing is number 5. This is the last question I want you to ask yourself when you're going through that list. So again, we're writing down a list. If you're just joining us, we're talking about how to build our support system, our village, our squad, our tribe when it comes to moms, because we cannot do this alone. And so if you know another mom who needs to be hearing this, please share or tag them in the comments. And so what I want you all to do first is write that list of people. I mean, just everybody that come to mind, just write them down. And then you're asking yourself these 5 questions so that you can come up with a concrete list of who you may be able to call in the event of an emergency, or somebody when you're stressing out, you're overwhelmed, you just need to talk to them. You can drop the kids off so you can run to the grocery store. How many of y'all know that it is so much work to be able to take little kids in a stroller and get them out the car seat, and they can't get themselves out or buckle themselves into the grocery store? I mean, like a 20-minute run to the grocery store ends up taking like 2 hours because they touching stuff and knocking stuff off the shelves. I mean, crazy, right? And so who in the support system, I'm just like laughing because I remember the days when my kids were smaller. Who can we build in this list or be intentional about adding to our support system, where you can do something as simple as they come to your house and you drop your kids off while you go grocery shopping? How about they come to your house or you drop the kids off so that you can take a nap? Just something as simple as that. And so that's what we're talking about tonight. The 5th question I want you to ask yourself is, who do I admire their parenting skills? So who is the person, again, you see in your community, in your neighborhood, in your family, at your church, and you just like, yo, she's a dope mom, or he's a dope father, that's a dope grandma or auntie, or whoever, not even have kids. Like they are dope when it comes to handling children. Who is that person? Make sure you have a list of these people and really, really go through your list, y'all. I want y'all, let me know. Y'all email me info@tramika.com or y'all inbox me. I don't want to know who they is because I don't know who the people are, but I do want to know that I'm gonna give y'all 2 days, 48 hours. I want y'all to come up with at least a list of 2 to 5 people who you know for sure can be a part of your support system, or who you're willing to build the relationship. Again, sometimes these things happen authentically. If it does not, we have to be intentional about it. And so you do have to build the relationship, you have to build the trust, and you have to build the rapport. And so who are you willing to be intentional about building that relationship with? 2 to 5 people. Make sure y'all inbox me like, hey, Tramika, I got my potential tribe. Or hey, Tramika, I got my tribe, girl. Whatever y'all need to do, but make sure you let me know when you have your list and you've narrowed it down to at least 2 to 5 people who can be a part of your tribe. And so I want to talk about typically why we don't have one. One of the biggest reasons, and I know for me, because we do have family members that we do trust and could definitely have been a part of our support system, but we moved away. And so relocation is a big, big part of that. We are originally from Rochester, New York, me and my husband. We moved to North Carolina. We were there for 7 years, and then we've been here for about 7.5 years. And so with the moving, you know, you're building relationships all over again. Of course, there was grandparents in New York and aunts and uncles and all that type of stuff, family members and childhood friends, you know, in New York. And then when you move to North Carolina, you know, you have people, I went to college in North Carolina, so you build friendships out of that. You have people who you go to church with, or people in your community, people in your neighborhood. We build friendships and relationships for that, but then we moved. Now we're here in Atlanta, and now we had to start all over. And I remember when we first moved to Atlanta and we joined the church that we currently attend, there was a couple there, and we were in this marriage Bible study. And they were talking about how, like, you know, you got to go out, you got to do dates. That's a whole nother topic. Maybe one day, I know we talk about mom stuff, but maybe one day I could talk to the mamas that's married. That's like a whole nother playing field or conversation or a show. And so we knew, me and my husband, we knew we needed to like cultivate our marriage and go out on dates and stuff, but we didn't know anyone. I think we only had like one family member here, and they didn't live too far, but they were like really busy. They had no young kids, so we just didn't even want to ask them, like, you know what? We ain't bothering them. Their kids ain't been in the house for 20 years. And so even in that, don't be afraid to ask. All they can say is yes or no, right? If you trust them to be able to handle your children or be with your children, or either handle you in the midst of an emergency or something of that nature. But anywho, we're in this marriage Bible study, and we're like, you know, what do you do? Like, I raised my hands to ask the question, what do you do when you don't have a group of people or any type of tribe or village to be able to keep your kids? We had 3 kids at the time. We needed to go on dates. Our marriage was suffering because we were not going on dates, but we didn't know anybody. And I'm not just taking my kids to anybody's house. I'm not doing that. And so there was a couple who had like spoke during the event, and then afterwards she put me to the side. I know she probably is not watching, but Alicia Willis, shout out to you, boo. I love you. I will never forget this. She pulled me to the side and she said, I know you don't know me. This is how she approached me. And so this is another thing. I want you to listen to what she said, because if you are wanting this for yourself, who are you being a support system for? Who are you being intentional about saying, hey, mama, I got you, I will help you? And so it's the flip side to it as well. We have to make sure that we're being showing up and being available for people as well. But she put me to the side in the hallway. She said, hey, I know you don't know me. She was like, but I just really want to help you. She said, I know you have kids. I only have one child that's in the house, but you can bring them over. I will watch them. She said, girl, you can come upstairs. I will let you look in every bedroom. So while you away, you are like visioning where your kids can be and what is going on. She was like, I just want to help you. And so I'm like, oh, thank you so much. But in the back of my head, like, lady, I do not know you. Like, I'm not bringing my kids to your house. But going to more of the marriage events, getting to know them, getting to know who she was. One of the things I really appreciated about Alicia was she was very authentic. She was very real. She said whatever was on her mind. And so I knew that this was a person that was living like 2 different lives or wearing like this fake mask in front of people. Like, she truly showed up and was who she said she was. And so I just talked to my husband. I was like, one day, let me back up. We started going to their house as a family. So we started building relationship and cultivating the relationship. And so they live down the street from us, comes to find out. And so we started to go to their house, and we would do like family stuff together. So I would get to know her, getting to know her husband, their child. They're getting to know our children getting to know her child, you know, like all of that. We were cultivating and building the relationship, the trust, and the rapport. So I finally told my husband, because I'm like, look, we got to go out on a date, right? We're going to go like around the corner to a restaurant, not far at all, because we like moved to Atlanta. So of course you want to be in Atlanta nightlife and go to the city and do X, Y, and Z. We like, no, we're going to go right around the corner. I don't care if it's to Wendy's. We just going to get some time by ourselves, and we're going to leave the kids. Y'all, I was panicking on the inside. I was scared, but I did it. We were only gone probably like an hour or so. I don't even remember. But I went in the house. I was able to see upstairs, downstairs. She took me into her room, y'all. Like, I don't like people in my bedroom, but she wanted me to see every square inch of her house because she wanted me to be comfortable. Those are the people who we need on our squad. And these are the type of people who we need to be for other people. So I would never forget that. And so after that point, we were able to like continuously start to have date nights. So who is your Alicia? And are you being Alicia's to other people that you know may need the help? There is another mom that is suffering in silence, just like you. And she has all the good characteristics and qualities to be able to be what you need, and vice versa. You can be what she needs. And so sometimes it's about opening up our mouth and asking for help. That's my alarm, y'all, for my kids to go to bed. So, two things that typically, what happens is why we don't have this tribe is we don't want to ask for help and we don't trust people. And so I just gave you the story about my Alicia and how I was able to start going on date nights. And so what are you going to do? What are you going to do to be intentional? Maybe you have a relationship that's kind of growing, but you're not quite there where you're willing to leave them with your kids. Y'all, teenagers, even though I know sometimes teenagers can do stuff too, but think about teenagers as well. And so the key thing is we have to be able to build a relationship, the trust and the rapport with somebody to be able to help them be a part of our support system in our squad. The other thing is we don't want to ask for help because we feel like, well, mama, we got to do it. We let society put us in this box to say that we have to have everything under control. Absolutely a lie. We need other people. We do need to be able to ask for help. And so I don't want you to get caught up in that mom guilt or the societal norm to say that we're supposed to have it all together. We're supposed to be perfect and we're never supposed to ask for help. Like, this absolutely not true. We all need downtime. Absolutely always need downtime. So here are some more actionable steps that I want you to complete before we finish up today. Start small. That's number one. Ask for help with something small. It doesn't even have to be anything to do with your kids. So if you're the mom out there, like, I just don't want to ask nobody, I want you to start small by asking somebody to do something small for you to help you out. And so I don't care if it's like, oh, can you get some snacks for me from the grocery store? Can you pick up some Comet, some bleach, some hand sanitizer, some Lysol if they can find it? I don't care what it is. Start small, asking for help. So what I want you to do is I want you to write down a list of 5 things that you know you need to do for this week. 5 things. Large things, small things, whatever that may look like. And then I want you to pick one item off the list to be able to find somebody to ask them to be able to help you with it. So it may be something inside of your home, something outside of your home, an errand, a chore. It could be something with your kids if you're ready to take that big step. But I want you to write down a list of 5 things and I want you to ask for help. It may just be to get some information. Can you look up or can you find a pair of sweatpants for my son or whatever? But the important thing is, or the key thing is, I want you to be able to reach out and ask for help. And I want you to know that you're going to live after it, that you're going to be okay after you have asked for help. And I want you to see that people are willing and waiting and ready to help you. And so that's the first step. Start small with asking for help. Watch them while you go to the store, if you're ready to take that type of leap of faith. But again, starting small, asking them to ask for help. The second thing is I want you to start building relationships. So be intentional about building those relationships. Do activities together. If it's another mom, maybe you would want to meet up with the mom. Wear your mask, go to Target, go to Walmart. Those are places you have to go already. So please don't use COVID or coronavirus as a reason as to why you can't get together with people. You got to go to the grocery store. I don't care if you meet up at the gas station. You already got to do it. And so if you're ordering groceries, and that's a whole nother, where do you go? Where do you go out to? And so what I want you to do is start cultivating that relationship. I want you to at least meet up with this person one time, do an errand together. Maybe y'all can run errands. They driving their car, you driving yours, you meet up with the mask. I don't care if y'all go to the post office together. And what I want you to do as well, because we are in the midst of COVID, is I want you to start building that relationship with phone calls as well as virtually, like with Zoom or FaceTime or Skype or whatever you're using on your particular phone. And so it's good to be able to build the relationship, the trust and the rapport by being able to see the person's face. And so phone calls is cool, but I want you to actually virtually see their face as well. So do activities together as a group. There are some people out here living their best life in spite of COVID. And so if that is you, kudos to you. I'm just still a little nervous. So I'm just kind of in my bubble. But if that is you and you're taking your kids out and you want to meet up with the kids, cool, do that as well. Sky Zone, I know people are starting to go skate and bowling. And so if you're comfortable doing that, where if they have kids, bringing their kids and you bring your kids, or if they don't have kids, just bringing them around your kids, whether it be in your home, at their home for maybe a Sunday night dinner. I want you to start being intentional about building those relationships. If you just absolutely feel like I just don't have anybody in my rearview mirror right now, I want you to join some type of organization, something in your community, a church, and be intentional. Don't join and be like, ooh, let me see who taking care of their kids good in here. Not that type of thing, but just join it and be authentic and let this thing happen. The key is being intentional about being able to build those relationships with someone else. The last resort that I want you to do, because we all need a support system, right? I want you to hire the help. And so I don't know, people are saying they do care.com, ask for recommendations from other moms at the school, church, online, Facebook, ask for recommendations. I would rather it be someone that you were close to, that you can constantly build a relationship with. But even if you have to hire help, and that may not be hiring help to do something like with your kids, you may hire a housekeeper to take a load off of you, or like Instacart, you're hiring them to be able to deliver the groceries so that you can take a breather and do something else. So I'm not necessarily saying just hire a nanny or a babysitter, but what can you do to be able to hire someone to take some relief and stress out for you? Now, you're probably not going to be able to talk to them like a good girlfriend. You're probably not going to be able to do that. So you still need that, but they can at least take some of the tasks off your plate so that they can help you show up and be great in another area in your life. So that's all I have for you today. Christina, Janelle, Shelly, and somebody else joined, looks like from Atlanta. Thank y'all for joining me. If y'all have any questions, feel free to ask those questions now. You could drop them in the chat or you can come off mute. I want to hear your questions. I want to hear your comments. If you have anything, and if you are watching with me live, thank you so much. Make sure you share and tag with another mom who needs to hear this. Oh, look, I have some chats. Let's see what we got here. I'm just talking, y'all. I didn't even see the chats. Let's see. Okay, everybody is saying just great evening. And then I'm trying to get there. Trust is huge. Pray for healing. Pray for the village tribe. Yes, yes. We have to be intentional about praying for it, Christina. Anybody else? Any questions or comments? You are welcome, Christina. She said it was good information. You are so welcome. I'm glad it helped. Any other questions? And before you all go, if you can drop in the comment box, what was one takeaway from today that you learned? Everyone that's on here with me live, just drop in the chat box. What was one takeaway? If you are watching live from Facebook, if you would drop in the comment box, what is one takeaway that you're going to take away from our conversation tonight, from our live chat? So if you're on Facebook, if you would drop it in the comment box, and if you're on Zoom with me, drop it in the chat box. What's one takeaway from tonight? We're talking about building a support system. And while I'm waiting for those to come in, chat box if you're with me on Zoom, in the comment box if you're watching on Facebook, I want to let you know that I have launched the Mom Squad. And so the Mom Squad is your good mama friend, right? And so like I said, it's going to be the mama who's going to show up at the store with those, at the school with those store-baked cookies, and you're going to pretend like you got them. It's the mom who, when you're ready to jump over a bridge, she going to say she got you. The mama who you can call, you can vent to, going to give you all her best mama secrets. She going to give you all the hacks. She going to tell you about the good sales. That good mom friend that's going to be able to support you when it comes to managing motherhood. And so if you want to be a part of that, we send out weekly emails and additional information, tips, hacks, and strategy. If you want to be a part of that, in the link, in the caption on this particular live video, go ahead and click it and put in your information. It's going to ask for like your name, your email, and so that you can get connected to the Mom Squad email list, and so that we can make sure that we are supporting you on your journey of motherhood. Christina said it was good information. This was confirmation for me that we have to be intentional. Absolutely. Shelly says, make a list of 5 things and ask for help. I am guilty of trying to do it all and becoming overwhelmed or overextending myself. Thanks, coach. Yes. Listen, I'm telling you, like, we have to be able to allow people to come in and help us. And the crazy thing about it, like, I used to be the same way. Like, I got this, I'm going to do it until I start getting burnt out. And then the crazy thing about it, it's like people who really want to help us. They like, yo, Tramika, like, you do a lot of stuff and it's dope. Like, I would be more than honored to help you. So, I mean, like, we really just have to open our mouths and start suffering in silence, moms, and let people know what we need help with. And if we are having trust issues till we get to where we want to be, what's the small stuff they can take off our plate? I'm talking about like small items. Instead of stressing myself out, saying like, oh my God, I need to go to a grocery store or to Walmart because we need this item for this project. I'm like on the phone with my friend, like, what you got in your cabinet, in your pantry? Because as a mom, like, I feel bad and guilty, like, oh my God, I gotta get this project done. But as the other mom, she understands and she like, yo, I got that in my pantry. You don't even have to go buy it. And so those are the type of relationships that we want to build. That was something small, but those are the small things I want you to start with. Christina also said the group is though informative and straight sisterhood. She's talking about the group coaching Q4. Y'all are dope. I'm so excited about the group coaching. But if you want to be a part of the email list for the Mom Squad and get those source, please make sure that you click the link in the comment or the caption of this live video and get connected to the Mom Squad. That is all I have for y'all tonight. Thank you so much for all of my guests who joined me live on Zoom. And so I want you all, like, let's try to build this thing. Let's have like 50, 100 moms on here every week. So I am here except for holiday weekends, and I'll let you know in advance. Every Sunday night at 9 p.m., put the kids to bed, get a notebook, get a glass or whatever you like to drink, and join me here live, 9 p.m. Eastern time, every single Sunday. And so I will